Okay, Lancet panel on air pollution. Okay. Lancet is one of the most reputed medical journals of the world, and it regularly brings about a report that details or that documents the effect of pollution, basically air pollution, on human health. So, okay. So that report has been recently published, and we are going to talk about that. So what new Lancet report says about India's pollution problem? So very important point is pollution resulted in more than 23 lakh premature deaths in India in 2019, and which is highest in the world. The Lancet Planetary Health Journal has revealed. Okay. And most importantly, 73% of these 23 lakh deaths, premature deaths that happened in India due to pollution, were due to the air pollution. 73% of these premature deaths were accounted for only by the air pollution. So that means air pollution in India remains a very, very important problem which needs to be addressed very holistically. Okay? So let's look at the whole. Okay, pollution and premature death. So pollution की भी definition है. ठीक है? United Nations defines pollution as the presence of substances and heat. Substances means materials like chemical compounds like PM 2.5, PM 10, or any such substance that should not be naturally present in that quantity that it is present. Okay. For example, like sulfur is naturally present in some ecosystem. If the amount increases, it leads to pollution. For example, nitrogen also leads to pollution and eutrophication also, right? So the United Nations defines pollution as presence of substances and heat. The presence of heat is also called pollution, because pollution, basically air pollution, leads to trapping of heat, and that leads to increase of temperature. Okay. Even heat is a problem. Here, heat is a problem because the natural temperature of the earth or our surroundings or our environment, if it is disturbed to 1-2 degrees Celsius, that will be catastrophic. And that is why it is very important that we consider heat is also a pollutant whose nature, location or quantity produces undesirable results, undesirable environmental effects, और जो natural system है उसको disturb करता, right? So that will be called pollution. However, the new report that the Lancet journal we are talking about, it defines pollution as an unwanted waste of human origin. It very specifically mentions human origin as unwanted waste of human origin. That means it acknowledges the fact that humans are the ones who are creating pollution. Okay, released into land, air or water and the ocean without regard for cost and consequences. Okay. The presence of plastic in the ocean is also a pollution, right? Presence of straws in the ocean is also pollution. Okay. Now premature death, when fatality or death occurs prior to the average age of that country. Okay. For example, in India, the average life expectancy at birth is 69.5 years for male and 71 or 72 years for females. So if a death occurs prior to that, that is called premature death. There can be certain reasons, like accident can be a reason for premature death, but we are talking about the premature deaths that are being caused by pollution. Now, a very important consideration that we need to have here is that the average age for women and men in India has fallen down from 69.5 years and 72 years to 67.5 years and 69.8 years in 2020. That means the average life expectancy of males and females both has fallen down in India. And pollution can be regarded one major or leading cause for that. Now, key findings of the report, a very crucial report, very important report. The governments must pay heed to it. The pollution is responsible for 90 lakh deaths each year across the world. More than 65% of deaths were caused by air pollution, like ambient air pollution and toxic chemical pollution over the past 20 years. So more than 65% of, more than 2/3 of these deaths are caused by ambient air pollution. Okay? Men are, now there's a very interesting gender thing attached to this. Men are more susceptible to deaths due to air pollution. Okay? Men are more likely to die from the exposure to air pollutants, as women and children are more likely to die from the exposure to contaminated water or water pollution. Okay. Over 90% of pollution related deaths occur in low income. Again, a very important observation. The pollution affects the poor the most. Okay? So similarly, the low income people are affected the most. Okay? Because the pollution, the effect of pollution on everyone is same. But the way we mitigate it, the way we deal with it, right, that is different for different income categories. Okay? The poorest of the poor are not even concerned about pollution. They are basically concerned about their food and health, or food and lodging. On the other hand, the rich people might have access to advanced devices like air pollutant, air purifiers, air conditioners and all. Okay? So the effect similarly on the low income countries is highest as compared to the other ones. Air pollution caused maximum deaths at 66.7 lakh out of 90 lakh. Okay, more than 2/3. And water pollution was responsible for 13.6 lakh 6 lakh deaths globally. What about India? India saw out of 90 lakh deaths, 16.7 lakh deaths happened due to air pollution in India in 2019. The majority of these deaths were caused by the PM 2.5 pollution, which is a very notorious pollutant. Okay, PM 2.5 is particulate matter 2.5. Basically, any dust particle or any particle of smoke which is smaller than 2.5 micron, that is considered PM 2.5. Okay, it might not be visible, but we will breathe it. It will get stuck in our like respiratory system, basically in alveoli, and lead to collapse of those alveoli and can cause problems like lung cancer and all. PM 2.5 pollution is well above, in India it is well above the WHO guidelines in 93% of the India. Okay, matlab almost 100% of India is having PM 2.5 levels higher as compared to the prescribed value by WHO. Okay, the World Health Body has recently lowered its global air quality guideline for value TM from 10 microgram per cubic meter to 5 microgram per cubic meter. So this is important to remember from prelims point of view, ki what are the guidelines of WHO regarding PM 2.5, and that is earlier the standard was ki 10 microgram per cubic meter is allowed, but now it has been decreased from 10 microgram to 5 microgram per cubic meter. Death due to traditional pollution. Traditional pollutant in Indian system was basically from the smoke coming out of the chimneys, chulhas and all this cooking, the chulhas used in cooking purposes and room heating and all these things. That was the traditional form of pollution in India, in rural India basically. But now that pollution has reduced, specifically on the account of Ujjwala Yojana, the one we discussed in the previous lecture. Okay, that is very important. So Ujjwala Yojana, by the provision of clean cooking gas, basically LPG cylinders, the traditional household pollution has reduced. Okay, have reduced by more than 50% since 2000. Okay, air pollution is most severe in Indo-Gangetic Plain. Indo-Gangetic Plain is one of the most severely affected areas in India. Okay, economic impact. Now India's economy is around 2.7 trillion dollars. The world faces an economic loss of 4.6 trillion dollars in 2009, equivalent to 6.2% of global economic output. Okay. In India, economic loss due to modern form of pollution like ambient particulate matter, air pollution and all, lead exposure. In a very recent topic, we were discussing lead exposure because lead was actually previously used as anti-knock agent in the petrol. Now it has been outlawed, it is not used anymore because it is of course carcinogenic, it causes cancer. So ambient, but these are modern forms of pollutant, because lead is also used in the paints that we use inside our houses and it gets emitted inside our houses. Okay, so it is certainly a pollutant. Okay. So modern form of pollutants are ambient air pollutants, ambient particulate matters, basically PM 2.5 and all, and lead exposure have increased. have increased. Traditional form of pollutant had decreased, but what the modern form of pollutants has increased from 2000 to 2009, and now approximately 1% of GDP loss is occurring due to this. Economic effects of air pollution are severe in East Asia and Pacific, where losses are equivalent to 9.3% of GDP of the South Asia, where losses are equal. Okay, in East Asia and Pacific, the losses are around 9.3%, and in Asia, uh, uh, where in South Asia, basically in India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and all these regions, the losses are around 10.3%. Matlab the worst affected regions are East Asia and Southeast Asia. Okay, that is all for the day. I hope you enjoyed this lecture, and if you have any feedback, if you have any comments, if you have any queries, if you have any questions, you can reach me out in the comment section. Okay, I hope that was entertaining and educating. Thank you.